Okay, so today we're going to be talking a little bit about Trump's trial and sentencing. I mean, everybody knows with even a quarter of a brain knows that this has nothing to do with actual crimes. It's totally a political move, which is what it always is. It's the same thing about right before an election, all of a sudden the Democrats hate illegal aliens, right? It's the same shit with that, or how politicians like Biden, Obama, Clinton, Trudeau over here in Canada will always just say things that fits the time, fits the narrative to satisfy normal people, and then once he wins, it's all SJW shit again. It's happened multiple times. It happened with Hillary Clinton in the past. This video right here it's one of my older videos about where Trump was acquitted for the second time. This was around when the whole Russia collusion thing happened and he was acquitted. And remember how the media acted about this and how angry they were and how livid they were that somehow in our vast galaxy facts actually won for a change, right? And one of the first things I'll mention showing that it is a political move as opposed to an actual legal move is that even though he's already been found guilty, supposedly, uh, he's going to be sentenced 4 days. 4 days before the Republican convention. Just so that he can't be there or make the impact, make the motivation, inspiration, whatever it is that he would normally make over his voters. Like, how can you look at that and not know that it was a political move, as it always is with these politicians, especially with the Democrats? It's not a surprise at all. Or how about, remember a couple years ago where we found that there were a ton of classified documents in Joe Biden's garage and he faced no consequence? None. Just for being a Democrat. I made a video on this when it happened a couple years ago, and I mentioned, like, yeah, that's all it is. Because he's a Democrat, no consequence. If Trump had done this, jail how long ago? And they've been trying for how long? They've been trying for how fucking long? It's crazy. I mean, it's not surprising, but it's crazy. Like, I'm so tired of just how often people are shit on just for being conservative and they try to spin it, and how often people are let go just for being Democrat, and then it's spun like, oh, no, it's not because he's a Democrat, it's because he's not really guilty, and here's why. You see, if you're a Democrat, your crimes aren't as bad, and it's just ridiculous. So, obviously everyone knows that Biden should have gone to jail for those classified documents in his garage, but nobody gave a shit at the time. I mean, what's another example of this? Like the election fraud stuff, right? Like, it's okay for Democrats to scream election fraud on Trump, Russia collusion for over 4 or 5 years. They can scream that. No one gives a shit. And even when it was debunked, which it was multiple times, it was swept under like, okay, fine, it wasn't actually true, but let's just pretend we never said it in the first place. Literally, that's literally what the mainstream media did. I mean, I don't have the clips myself, but I swear to you, I've seen them where like news anchors on like CNN, MSNBC were flat out saying after Trump was found innocent of the Russia collusion crap, we're trying to pretend that they never actually called Trump guilty of that. They started saying things like, oh well, we thought it, or we were discussing it, or we were theorizing it, or we were talking about other people who thought it. But we didn't actually say that Trump was colluding with Russia. What do you mean? We never said that. And then YouTubers like Mark Dice would show compilations of CNN literally saying it verbatim to prove that they're lying, obviously. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing as it's all this. It's all these are just examples of this political crap happening because it happens every fucking year. But the example I gave about the 2020 election was the same thing, right? And the Russia collusion crap, it was always the exact same thing. It's true, and they're allowed to say it, and no consequence for lying. They can brush it under the rug. But, God forbid, a conservative says that an election was stolen. Like January of 2020, right? Imagine if a conservative dares to say that an election was stolen and storms the Capitol, then you're called a rioter, a racist, a white supremacist. You're arrested and investigated by the FBI just because you stood outside the Capitol or walked around the inside of the Capitol and dared to say, I think that Biden stole the election from Trump. That's not allowed. But you can say that Trump stole it. Okay. Amazing. I mean, how about this? How about this example? When the FEC fined Hillary Clinton over her dossier, and what was fucking funny is that, unsurprisingly, her fine was only $8,000. $8,000? That's it? For a fine towards Hillary fucking Clinton? Now again, how bad would her consequence have been if she was a Republican? That fine would be $8 million. First of all, it wouldn't be 8,000. It'd be 8 million, and she'd be in jail, which is what she actually should be in reality. But again, Democrat automatically means innocent. Backwards world. Or how about this example? I mean, I'm not defending what Alex Jones fucking said about the Sandy Hook. I'm not defending that. But what I'm defending is that just like Trump with this current case, it was a political movement, not a criminal one. It was politically charged. And everything is exaggerated just because they're Trump or Alex Jones or any kind of conservative. Yes, what Alex Jones said was bad. And yes, he should face consequences. But everybody with half a brain knows that if he was not a conservative or a supposed conspiracy theorist, even though he was right about almost everything, 1.5 billion. Do you really think his charges would be $1.5 billion if he was a Democrat? Maybe 50 million. Not 1.5 billion. Not even fucking close to this amount. This was not just about, oh, Alex, you owe an apology to the victims of Sandy Hook. It was also about, you are a right-wing, conservative, extremist, conspiracy theorist, and we don't like you. We not only want you to pay for what you said, but we also want to take down your entire organization of InfoWars, and if we make the amount 1.5 billion, there is no way you're getting out of this, buddy boy. So that's our goal. If the goal was just about the Sandy Hook stuff, he would not be having to pay that much. And by the way, back when his trial, I think it's actually still ongoing, but back when everything started, people were talking about it a lot more. There was actually a lot floating around that his judge was an SJW. I forget how that came up. It was something about people found like the judge's personal Twitter or something, or they just saw that she had like blue hair or some shit, and she was like an actual fucking like extremist SJW. That's not biased at all when you're a judge working on a court case against the supposedly most conspiratorial right winger in the world, but we can ignore that because we always do. Point is, though, I'm not here to talk about the actual Trump trial because I don't care that much. I'm not here to discuss if he's truly innocent or guilty. I'm just here to talk about the bias that we see all the time against conservatives. All the fucking time. And if you still don't believe that his sentencing and all this shit is politically charged as opposed to his actual supposed crimes, then look at this example from Biden just a couple days ago. Okay?
Mr. President, can you tell us, sir, Donald Trump refers to himself as a political prisoner and blames you directly. What's your response to that, sir? Do you think the conviction will have an impact on the campaign?
So, I mean, first of all, so this guy edits in a video and he shows a tweet in the background, which is real, by the way, where Biden says, just like we drew it up. Now, nothing was ever confirmed. Not that it needs to be, but everybody was theorizing, and it's most likely true because that's just how things work in our society, that the whole just like we drew it up is Biden basically admitting that everything was politically charged and a plan just so that Trump couldn't get reelected. Granted, before people say, but Matt, he actually can because he can literally, do all of his like rallying and talking to the American people from prison, you're right. But that doesn't change what their goal was. That doesn't change their intention. That doesn't even change the influence because even if a lot of people will still vote for Trump from prison, and even if Trump can communicate with the American people from prison, it still doesn't change the fact that this sentencing is still going to do a lot of damage. There's still a lot of people who don't know that you can still vote for Trump from prison. There are people who will, of course, believe the sentencing and therefore not vote for Trump. So even if you think, well, it's not a big deal, he can still talk and he can still have votes. Great, but he will still get a lot less because of other factors. The people believing in it, the people who don't know, it's like that. That's what they're. It's not about just like, okay, jail. Duh. It's not black and white. It's the people. They're also hoping for the people who don't know, who aren't aware. And even I didn't know that until recently. So I mean, I'm not American. I'm just saying there are people who don't know, including myself. I know now, but I didn't before. And you got to look at Biden's reaction here. We know that it is politically charged, obviously. And every time that Biden is asked a question that's not scripted, he ends up accidentally telling the truth. Now, he didn't say anything here, but did he need to? That grin tells you more, not everything you need to know, more than you need to know. Everybody knows, and Biden's face basically just admitted to it, that this entire thing with Stormy Daniels and all of Trump's other accusations, I mean, he was found guilty, I think, of 36 felonies. Right. I'm sure he was actually guilty of all 36. But point is, though, everybody with half a brain knows that at least some of those 36 are bullshit and are politically charged to get him out of office so that Biden can be reelected, or they can elect some other random fucking Democrat to destroy the country even more. It was planned. It was politically charged, not just Trump's supposed crimes. And if you don't believe that or know that, then you are very fucking delusional. But yeah, like I said, I'm not here to talk about the actual case itself, just more so the reaction and the political chargedness behind it. And yeah, all I really want is for you guys to leave this video knowing that Trump's trial is not based solely on his crimes, or supposed crimes. It's based on politics, as it always is. We've seen examples of this as I said, we've seen examples involving Trump, involving Alex Jones, Hillary Clinton, Biden himself in the past, during the Russia collusion, the Capitol, the 2020 election fraud. I mean, there are so many examples proving that things are politically charged and not actually done because they are right or wrong or proven true or false. It's just politics. That's all it is. That's all it ever has been. That's all it ever will be. That is a fact. Hopefully, some of you understand that. Okay, see ya.